Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing well. In this specific video, we will be talking about the encoding techniques. This specific video I'm covering up as a part of a specialized machine learning techniques. And whenever you are dealing with a categorical data, right, and you want to train any machine learning model on top of it, so always and always remember that our model, any machine learning algorithmic model, won't be able to understand the categorical data directly. Like if let's say you will be having a feature and that feature contains any specific categories. Maybe let's say there is a feature called as color, and that color contains maybe multiple colors like red, green, blue. And if you're directly feeding that color input to any of the machine learning algorithm, I'm saying any one of them, what is happening is your model will not able to interpret that specific feature, that what that color represents, what that color meaning as red, green or blue. So that is the major trouble, and that is where always remember these encoding techniques plays a very important role, very crucial role. So in this specific video, let's try to deep dive into what are the different encoding techniques we have, how basically they are different from each other, and at the end of the video I will try to talk about the implementation for both of the techniques. So there are mainly two which I'll talk about in this specific video. One is called as one hot encoding, another one is called as label encoding. So let's try to deep dive into both of them and we'll see end-to-end implementation for both of them. There might be a chance that in an interviews also people can ask from you regarding this point. So please make sure you will document your learning on the way. And with this, let's get started. So as I have already mentioned that let's assume you will be having multiple features, and let's say it's a maybe classification problem or a regression problem, any one of them. Let's assume that we are dealing with a, for example, regression problem. And I hope you all remember and already aware after reaching to this specific point that when I'm saying regression problem, it means that as a target variable, we will be having a continuous number or continuous values. You know? So we will be having a continuous values. Now let's assume we will be having multiple features like F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. And let's say all of these five features are the input features, and let's assume that we have a target value available. So depending upon all of these input features, let's assume that the target will be there, which is a continuous number. Maybe let's take an example where depending upon the locality, volume, budget, household area, everything, the parameter is house price, right? Price of a house. And let's assume inside that there is one feature, maybe feature F3, by the name of, let's assume, color. So there is a paint in the house and there is a similar paint. Now let's assume that the paint is of red color, another one is of blue color, another one is of, let's say, green color, and so on. So basically, let's assume there are three colors only in that specific locality. Either it will be red or blue or green. Depending upon other parameters plus this color name, the target price will be accommodated. Makes sense? Now, with respect to this specific feature, this is something which we called as, always remember, categorical feature. Always remember. So when I'm saying categorical feature, the simple meaning is that they will be having some specific categories. This is not something which is having any number specifically. So for example, let's assume sex. Sex is either male or female. Again, it's a categorical feature. So always remember in your given data, in your given input features, chances are very high that you might deal with a categorical features as well. And whenever there is a categorical feature available, and let's assume that you're directly feeding that without doing any pre-processing to the ML model, let's assume you're directly feeding to the ML model without doing any kind of, I would say, pre-processing. In that specific scenario, always remember the results won't come out in an appropriate manner because your model will not able to understand that what is the meaning of red, blue or green, right? And that is where the need of encoding techniques, that is the motivation, I would say, of motivation of learning, encoding techniques comes into picture. Encoding techniques comes into picture. Always remember that. Okay. Now, okay, that is fine. We have understood what is the reason behind learning this. But now you will observe that whenever we are talking about encoding first of all meaning that we are converting the categorical features into the numeric values. We are doing some kind of a mapping. We will be having two techniques which are very, very widely used. One is called as one-hot encoding and another one is called as label encoding. Label encoding. Okay? Now, when we are talking about one-hot encoding, in that specific scenario, always remember if you will be having the input features in a nominal category. Now, there are two things which you always see. One is called as nominal versus ordinal. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about these two different categories of data. Nominal versus ordinal. So if you will just simple search on Wikipedia, what it is saying, ordinal is a data that can be ranked. Nominal is a data that can be made to fit various categories. Simple meaning which I want to infer here. For example, let's say when I'm talking about a color, which is either red, blue or green. So in this specific categorical feature, we don't have any as such category. We don't have as such any ranking. Ki green is having a higher priority than blue or blue is having a higher priority than red. Always remember, when we're talking about label encoding, ordinal type of data features will comes into picture. When we're talking about one-hot encoding, always remember nominal type of input features comes into picture. Again, I'm repeating, what is the meaning of nominal? When there is no as such ranking. When there is no as such ranking in that specific scenario, we call it as a nominal. Ordinal means when there is a ranking. When there is a ranking, that is where we call it as a ordinal. For example, let's assume I am saying there is a field called as education, or you can say we are just looking into higher studies. How much is the higher studies everyone is doing? We are doing one survey. Now we have three options. Either you can write a BTech, or you can write MTech, or a user can write PhD. So that is where there's a ranking, right? We know that somehow PhD person is having more upper priority as comparable to the person who has pursued MTech, and MTech is having more priority as comparable to the person who has pursued BTech, or maybe any other higher degree also, or I would say MBA or MTech, one in the I'll maybe pass it as a one in the same category. So what I'm trying to convey, there is a category, there is a range, there is a rank. Ki PhD is superior than MTech is superior than BTech, and so on. So whenever there is a ranking, that is where we call that categorical feature as ordinal. When there is no as such ranking is available, we call it as nominal. So whenever our input feature is of nominal, we always go for one-hot encoding. When it will be of ordinal, we will prefer label encoding. Now, what is the meaning of that? How will it actually works? Again, I have taken one open source image. Now in this image, you can see that we have original data, let's assume, and data contains the names of islands. There are 3 unique islands which you can see, right? I'm just writing a bigger name, T, B and D, right? T, B and D. So what is happening is, as soon as you will apply a label encoding over there, so what will happen is, automatically it will give the label of T as 0, B as 1, D as 2. This is what we call as label encoding. So what is happening is, automatically it will try to give a label corresponding to every unique category we will be having. So we have Torgerson, Bisco and Dream. So what is happening is, automatically this will be categorized as 0. So wherever this T is there, 0 category is there. B is there, 1 category is there. D is there, Dream is there, 2 categories there. So I hope you will be able to understand. And this is the method name which is available as a part of a sklearn.preprocessing. I'll showcase you, don't worry with respect to the implementation part per se as well. But it's a part of a sklearn.preprocessing. It will try to fetch the label encoder and one-hot encoder from there also. And it will implement that, and then it will transform the complete data specific to the data of data frame of this island, and automatically what we will be able to see as an output is 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. So this is how basically the complete flow will go. I hope it makes sense. Now, moving ahead with respect to the one-hot encoding. What is happening in this specific scenario? If let's say we will be having 3 values, it will try to create separately 3 columns for that. So always remember, whenever you are trying to apply one-hot encoding, it will see how many number of categories are there, unique categories are there, and corresponding to every unique category, new columns will be created. Now, wherever that, let's say T is there, it will mark it as 1. Otherwise, for the remaining columns, for the remaining rows, it will mark it as 0. Same thing will happen for B. Middle 2 are 1s, remaining are 0s. Same thing will happen for D. All the values are 0, only the last 2 belongs to dream, so it will be 1. And to implement one-hot encoder, one way could be like the way you have done above, where you can call sklearn.preprocessing and fetch the label encoder and one-hot encoder from that specific module. Another way could be, which is very, very famous, people usually use that function, is get_dummies. Now, as soon as you will be able to call this function, this is the kind of a result which you will be able to get, and then you can join that as a part of an original data frame, and you will be able to get extra columns now altogether. This is the major difference. I hope the difference is pretty much clear. In label encoding, within one specific column, for every category, we have separate labels 0, 1, and 2. Now, what is the issue? For example, these islands are not having any as such ranking. But when we are talking about label encoding, it will provide the value as 0, 1, and 2. So automatically, internally, our model will assume 2 is having somehow the higher priority as comparable to 1, and 1 is having a higher priority as comparable to 0. But this kind of a ranking is not actually exist in the form of islands. So for that specific scenarios, maybe one-hot encoding assumes to be the best one, right? I hope you get the reason what I'm trying to convey over here. But when I'm talking about one-hot encoding, and when it is trying to generate a separate column for each and every unique category that we have, these variables, which is with respect to the island names, are called as dummy variables. These variables are something which we called as dummy variables. Okay? All these variables are called as dummy variables. And there is something called as a concept in one-hot encoding called as dummy variable trap. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are aware about this concept, but you can just try and give a read about this specific concept in machine learning, which we want to avoid at every point of time whenever we are doing a pre-processing. Let me try to explain you in a layman way what is the meaning of that. For example, let's say you are saying that I have, let's assume, color names, and color names are red, green, blue, red, again green, and let's say again red. So it means you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, means total 6 number of records you have. As soon as you will apply the technique of, let's assume, one-hot encoding. So how many number of new columns it will be able to create? I hope you all know. You will definitely say to me that Priya, it will create a new column for red, a new column for, I would say, green, and a new column for blue, right? It will try to recreate that. So now, because we will be having, I would say, 6 number of values. So red is 1, second value is green, so it will be 0. Third value is blue, it will be 0, because wherever red is there, that is where I will get the value as 1. Fourth value is red, then again green, again red, right? Then for the green part, I have 0, second value is green, then I think next value is blue, next value is again red, next value is green, and then again we have red. Then blue, for the blue part, I just have only third record where the blue is there. For remaining records, we have either red or green, right? Now, dummy variable trap says that if, let's say, you are already having the 2 columns available, red and green, let's assume. So why there is a need to create a third column? Because if let's say I am saying red is 0, green is 0, that is indirectly indicating that obviously obviously it's very trivial. It's very trivial that it's trivial that in that scenario, blue will be 1. So does it make sense to create a extra column for a blue part? Isn't it? It is providing us a redundant information. Isn't it? We are getting a redundant information over there. And that is the main reason. This redundant information leads to something called as multi-collinearity. Meaning it somehow indicates that the features are highly correlated with each other. And that is the main reason why we usually try, once we will be able to get red, green, blue, we usually try to drop any one feature. It can be any one of them. It can be red, it can be green, it can be blue. And that is why when you read the documentation of this one-hot encoding, if you will just go and read the documentation of one-hot encoding, let me just showcase you documentation. Let's open that one-hot encoder. So you can see that there is one variable called as drop. By default, it is none. Means it will not drop any of the column. But if let's say you are saying that as soon as it will create a new matrix where I will be having for every category new column, let's assume you are saying drop is equal to first. So you are saying that drop the very first column which you are creating, so that there will be no dummy variable trap. You can make it last also, whatever wish you have, but always make sure you will always get rid of this dummy variable trap whenever you're working with encoding techniques. It's one of the most crucial point which I want to convey over here. Okay? I'll showcase you now whatever points I have covered up, but before moving to the implementation part, let me repeat the points which I have just now covered up. Encoding techniques is important because whenever we want to convert any categorical data into numeric one, mapping is required. Directly, if we process that categorical data, our model won't be able to understand. That is the motivation with which we started our learning. After that, we have seen what is the meaning of categorical features and how many types of categorical features we have. One is called as nominal, another one is called as ordinal. Nominal means no ranking. Ordinal means ranking is there. We have seen that whenever we will be having nominal feature or nominal data, we always go for one-hot encoding. Whenever we will be having a ranking, we will always go for label encoding, because the way label encoding works is it will try to give within one column all the ranks 0, 1 and 2. So if let's say any specific feature doesn't indicate a ranking part, so we will not prefer going for label encoding, because we don't want our model to make a false assumption that let's say 2 specific point indicates a higher priority. That is not true. In that scenario, we will always go for one-hot encoding. In one-hot encoding, it will try to create a separate columns for the unique categories, and it will make 1 if there is a match, 0 if there is no match. There is a concept of dummy variable trap, which we have discussed. So instead of making all the columns uniquely and available in the pre-processing stage, we will try to drop any one of them to avoid the multi-collinearity. That's the main idea which I have given over here. Now let's try to see how we can do the implementation for this. So here you can just have a check over here. So what I can do before jumping towards this specific points, I'll showcase you very simple stuff over here. So let's assume that we will try to first of all import the obviously pandas over here as PD, and I'll take a very dummy data and then maybe I'll work upon with the Excel file. So what I can do is I will try to take a data which is a part of a dictionary. And in this data, I will be having a color, and this is the key, and the value is, let's say, red, let's say blue, let's say we have green, let's say again we have blue, again let's say we have red. So this is the work which we have done in the discussion section also. Now, if I let's say want to convert this specific data, which is a part of a dictionary, to a data frame, so what I can do, I can say data frame is equals to pd dot data frame, and inside that I'll pass my data. As soon as I'll pass my data, now what will happen is I want to see one hot encoded DF. Let's do one thing before jumping towards this point. I'll try to make it and showcase you how the data frame looks like. So if I'll just overwrite it like print data frame. So I hope you can easily able to see This is how basically our data frame looks like for now. Red, blue, green, blue, red. Now what I'll do is I will try to say one hot encoded df, and here I'll use pd dot get underscore dummies, the layman way which I have showcased you. And here I will be having original data frame, and what I will do is I will say the columns is equal to, we can mention color, and after that I am saying drop is equal to, okay, let's do one thing. First of all, we will make it default configuration, which is none. And what I will do is now simply I'll just showcase you how this one hot encoded df looks like. So you can see, right? This is the same thing I have told you, because in this case blue, either it will be false or it will be true, 0 or 1. So wherever blue is there, it will make it as 1. Wherever blue is there, it will make it as 1. Remaining values, it will make it as 0. So this is the simple way where how the basic one hot encoding is being done, right? Now we have talked about something called as dummy variable trap. Dummy variable trap, right? And to avoid this specific thing, what we can do over here is we will apply the same thing, but just one more variable I will use, which I will call it as drop, which is equals to, I'll say first. And after that, one hot encoding df, maybe let's take it as it is and let's see what will happen. Drop, let me take the variable name. What was the variable name? I think it is drop only. Drop underscore yes, first is equal to true. Let's see now. So now you can see automatically it will be able to get rid of this blue. So what is happening is at any point of time when we are saying green and red both are false, it means automatically blue is true, right? So this simple step will be able to avoid the redundant information, and you can say it will be able to avoid the redundant information and get rid of the multi-collinearity, right? So all of these things I hope is pretty much clear to everyone. Now the same thing if let's say you want to implement via sklearn.preprocessing module. So in that specific scenario, what you can do is I have taken a simple car prices.csv file just to showcase you how this file look like. Maybe I'll take the dummy records are there, only 14 records are there. So here you can see we have a car model, BMW X5, Audi, Mercedes, mileage, selling price in terms of dollar, and how much is the age of that car. Let's assume we have this many records available with us from 0 to 12. Now in this specific records, you know that mileage is a numeric data, selling price is a numeric data, age is also a numeric data. Even if you want to see the car underscore data dot d types, so you will be easily able to examine that every specific object, only car model belongs to object type, remaining are of integer type. And you all know that with respect to object part or with respect to categorical part only, encoding techniques will be applicable. If you will just check the shape of this specific data also, if I'll just showcase you, it's a very dummy records, only 13 number of records are there, and 4 you can say features are available. Now what I want is, I want this car underscore model or car model to be encoded either with the one hot encoding or with the label encoding. Now you know, when we apply label encoding, obviously it will mark a ranking as 0, Audi as maybe 1, Mercedes as maybe 2. And when we're talking about one hot encoding, it will make 3 new columns, BMW X5 as a separate one, Audi A5 as a second one, Mercedes-Benz C-Class as a third new column that we have. So now if you can see in the very first part, we're applying a one hot encoder, right? If you can see, we already have imported both the encoding techniques, one hot encoder and label encoder. And what we are doing is we're directly applying that, making the sparse as false. You can also have a study about this sparse matrix. Sparse matrix simply indicates the number of zeros. So for now, we are saying it as a false. So you can say when true, it returns a sparse matrix. Otherwise, if it false, then it won't return, right? After that, what we are seeing, we are trying to transform the complete data altogether inside the original models, car underscore models we have, where we have just passed upon that car model part, which is a categorical type only. After that, we are just trying to apply the new results which we are getting inside this one hot encoded. And after that, we are just concatenating our results. So here you can see, as soon as we have applied the one hot encoded data, so our results look like we have a separate 3 columns available. Wherever there is a, for example, Audi A5, the category is 1. Wherever there is a BMW, category is 1. Wherever there is a Mercedes, category is 1. Same thing we can do for label encoder part. Same thing, exactly same. It's just the function calling will be different because the internal implementation we want to be different. Now in this specific case, we don't want a separate columns for the independent features that we have. So here you can see again, we will apply the fit underscore transform function, and then we just try to merge the complete data all together, which we called as car data label encoded. After that, once you will run this specific code, you will see that you have a category of 0, 1, and 2. So this is how basically the complete label encoder works, right? So in label encoder, we will be able to have within one column 3 categories because we have 3 different car models. If we have 4 different car models, we will be able to get 0, 1, 2, 3. And this is how the complete flow will go. I hope that whatever points I have explained over here, it is pretty much clear to everyone. If there is anyone who is not aware about the concept of sparse matrix, I would highly prefer to refer the maybe documentation, or apart from documentation, it's a mathematical concept of matrix, linear algebra. So you can refer over there, then you will be able to get a better understanding what is the literal intuition behind having a sparse matrix in a one hot encoder, because it contains so many zeros, right? So what is the complete intuition behind that? You can have a complete go through with respect to that part. Those who already have an awareness, I feel then the concepts are pretty much clear. And this is the overall idea behind the encoding techniques in machine learning. I hope that now whenever you are having any of the categorical data in your given input, you will be easily able to pre-process it via the encoding techniques that we have learned today. With this, bye-bye everyone, and I'll see you all very soon in the upcoming videos.